Alright, for the King of Columns feature match, we got two column-based decks, Mekk Knights and Magical Muskets. So on the left, there's me playing Mekk Knights, and on the right, we have Y playing Magical Muskets. Magical Musketeers, I might refer to them as Magic Bullets, just because they just sound so much cooler like that. Alright, so we'll die roll. I won the die roll, and I'm choosing to go first. A funny thing about this matchup is we played this during a blackout. The light is actually coming out of a window, so that's why the lighting is actually a little funny. It's actually super dark when I recorded this, so there's been a bit of post-editing to kind of make it look a little bit better. So past turn, I actually can't do anything. That's the thing about Mekk Knights, is that they need cards on the field to actually establish, or they need themselves a Grinder Golem, or maybe even they can get themselves a Venus. Now, Y starts off giving me 1,000 life points through Upstart Goblin to get a draw, and attempting to get also a special summon out from that Starfire. And this is the King of Columns battle, as both players require to use columns to really do some dirty work. Get their effects off, or get their summoning right.
Battle phase.
So battle phase, it takes a swing at my face. I take a 13. Now, fun things about this matchup is that he wants to get free effects off of my cards, but I want his cards to line up with my monster. I want to lock him out, but he actually has a quicker setup because he just needs one monster and he has all the cards in his hands to play. Whereas me, I'm just trying to survive here. So I set one card in the same column, and I have to special summon out my Cobalt Blue. This is, I guess, the one of the deep sea. He is the ring monster that can shift columns. He can target any Mekk Knight monsters on the field and then move it to a different column. But that is also the most pressuring effect, because that's how the shutdowns work. If my monsters align to his monsters in the same column, depending on the spells and traps I have available, I could be negating spells, traps, or monster effects, and it negates the resolution when I move them into that column, which is pretty neat. So I'm going to decide to swing with my Azure Blue or Cobalt Blue, and he's going to use Desperado on it, which procs off his Starfire, getting him that Casper summon right out of the deck. That was a quick tether right there, and he got rid of one of my monsters. What a +1 that was. Now, I still have a Purple Dusk. Now, Purple Dusk is one of the best monsters in the entire deck. I think it's far superior compared to Blue Sky. In fact, this one should have been the secret rare. Purple Dusk acts as a a wind-up rabbit, able to dodge effects as a quick effect, but when it banishes itself and puts itself back on the next standby phase, when it does that, it gives a search. So upon banishing, you get a search. So that is actually pretty neat, but it also makes it susceptible to Ash Blossom Joyous Spring. So I did swing into the Casper. There was no response to the Casper, and as I tried to get myself an additional search, that actually failed, and he used an Ash Blossom to stop that. Now, moving stuff out of the column with 2 cards is a very essential thing for Mekk Knights, as that's the only way they can actually special summon themselves out from the hand. Moving it out of the way just gives it the other monsters opportunity to summon out as well. If we actually play them in the wrong column, it actually becomes a huge problem. If you summon them in the wrong order, it becomes a huge problem because you are floodgating against yourself. Now, Y here is playing Mind Control. I protect that card in because it was a regular spell card that could actually get a lot of advantage, like +2, 3. I don't know, depending on what you get. If you get a Link monster, that could actually get rid of it. Now, I tag out my Purple Dusk to actually get myself a search. I'm adding Blue Sky to hand, so that's a secret rare that was confirmed in the set. All these cards are proxied right now for your amusement. So now he summons out his Casper, that's from the effect of Starfire. Things aren't exactly looking too good on my side, as Y does have a pretty big hand. Now, one thing to note is that he's starting to split apart all his monsters. He does not want to match my columns because he doesn't want my monsters to be able to summon out. Because each 2-card column basically means a summon gate for me. And most of my monsters are bigger than his, so that's my advantage. So I'm taking another 13 to the face. And I'm taking that one to the face as well, another 16. I'm at 48 already. I'm down about halfway through. He's trying to maintain control. I'm more of an aggressive negation deck, and he is more of a control deck. He sets one. He has actually only kept one card in hand, so that is going to be interesting to see what he actually does with that one card. So during standby phase, purple dust comes back onto the field. I can move it to any column I want, and I'm going to move it to the far left monster zone, aligning it to the Casper. Although I'm not sure if that was actually a great idea. Perhaps I actually should have kept the columns open. So now I'm going to special summon out Sky Blue onto the field. Sky Blue is, or Blue Sky, sorry, is able to search cards in the same column, not equal to the number of cards my opponent controls. So he controls 2, I get 2 search, adding a Crimson Lotus, and what's gonna be? Probably another Purple Dusk, because Purple Dusk's effect is hard once per turn. In other words, each copy, well, you can't activate each copy. You can activate the name once per turn on the field. But it is very useful, because if you get rid of one this turn and then get rid of the other one next turn, standby phase, they both come back. So it could be surprise 5,000 damage out of nowhere. And then that's really important. So special summon out Crimson Lotus. Crimson Lotus is a level 7. We can banish out one of our Mekk Knights out of the graveyard to destroy a monster in the same column. And he's gonna protect it. Oh, so that's why he wanted to proc off Kid Brave. He had a monster, or he had a card to activate, but now he actually used it to protect his monsters. That is the Devil's Deal. And now Casper is going to be able to get a search, and that is actually a huge problem. With Casper getting that search, it's going to be a Desperado, and Desperado can actually just snipe off a problem card. Luckily, most of my monsters are just huge. And unfortunate for me, I don't have any way of negating the resolution of that trap card, so yeah, that's unfortunate for me. So now the swing becomes a bit more desperate. Oh, we're going to proceed to see a Link summon. Oh, this is actually quite ideal. Well, see, Mekk Knight of World Scars is quite different compared to most other Link monsters. The thing is, it requires all, I believe, Mekk Knights, but it doesn't want to point to anything. If it points to anything, that's when it kind of sucks, because it loses its protection. So I use that to dodge Desperado, and now he kills off my Venus, which that to me is a little bit worse. But hey, it happens. You need to bait it out in some way or form, and now he's gonna get himself another monster. Now, about Mekk Knight of World Scars, he can actually attack directly if there are no cards in the same column. That includes the stuff behind it. It's not just the stuff in front of your opponent. If you actually have cards in the same column, you can't do anything. But he also has a really good summoning effect, but it does come with a bit of risk. You lose the protection temporarily. If your opponent can answer that, then you will actually risk it all for nothing. Okay, so now we flip some Key to World Legacy. Now that is the Trap Negator. Also fetches back one of the banished Mekk Knight monsters back to the hand. So it is a free 1-for-1, I suppose. And now we're going to special summon out Cobalt Blue. This is the Column Shifter, which is pretty neat. That would have been very useful to stop Desperado. And now we've shifted it to align with the second column with the Dock. Oh, we're going to see the Purple Dust summon. Wow, so I'm just spamming monsters right now. There's a reason why I want to keep the Purple Dusk in that area, because I can actually get rid of it when the time comes. So I can just give back the protection to our big boss, World Scar. So now I'm going to attack the Casper. I don't think he can actually activate anything with nothing really in hand. Kill the Dock. And I have the opportunity to attack directly, but I'm not sure if that's actually a great idea. I'm going to activate the effect of Purple Dust first to get myself a search. So adding Blue Sky once again. With that column ready with the Kid Brave, it is very profitable to actually summon in that column. We're going to do an attack. I think I'm just going to go with the attack of the Starfires because I don't want him to get any more advantage. And he doesn't exactly have very much of anything. So end phase, he's going to use Scapegoat. So that was the reason why when I activated the card that was aligned, he chose not to activate his Starfire to summon a monster because he wanted the Scapegoat to go through. And he would actually not have space to summon with Scapegoat. Nor could he have activated Scapegoat if he did summon on that turn. Oh, this is actually not looking good for me. Scapegoat on end phase is probably one of the scariest things because it can actually turn into some of the more badass Link monster, which is exactly the options that he's going in for. Now, at this point, actually coming up very shortly, we're going to have a really awkward one where I kind of cut off a little because the power just acted awkwardly and then something crazy started ringing like loud, so we actually had to do a little bit of a time skip here. So anyways, he's going to perform a Link summon to a Link Karibo, and then he's going to go into a Proxy Dragon using 2, and then he's going to use the last one for a Link Spider, giving him 3 effect monsters straight into Borolo Dragon. Although I am purely protected from targeting effects and destruction, I am not immune to the stealing effect of Barrel Load. Oh boy. So he's going into battle phase using the effect of Borrel Load, and he's going to take control of World Scar, and World Scar will swing into Cobalt Blue. So it takes 600 damage. That is not looking good. I invested 3 monsters into making him, and that was pretty brutal. And now I take another 16 to the face, which is putting me very, very low. I'm down to 26 life points. Main phase 2. Pot of Desires. Oh, he's actually quite deep into his deck already. And no Ash Blossom has been is going to respond to this. No Ash. Free draw. And then if he draws into more magical musket cards, he can actually use Kid Brave to discard 1 to draw 2 of them. So Kid Brave activates, discarding other Kid Brave, drawing 2 more, putting his hand size back to 3. Well, he's maintaining his hand size pretty well. And he has not normal summoned this turn, so he is going to normal summon out Doc. And he's actually going to take the... oh, that is actually really bad for me. It is a Link 3, so he actually gets a Link 4 monster. He's going to link it off. So he creates himself a Firewall. Firewall pass. Barrel Load and Firewall. Firewall doesn't exactly have any sort of bouncing effect at the moment, but it is just a fat body, and I guess he kept a 25 body out of, well, at the cost of me. Standby phase. Welcome back, Purple Dusk. Putting him a bit further away. Back to the top, I guess the left side of the map. Pot of Desires, taking a gamble. I guess he took 1. I'll also do a Pot of Desires myself. And 0 Ash, which is a very fun game, especially when people don't just lose the Ash Blossom to a Spring. The Banishing, I see that there's 2 Shine Balls banished, and there is also a bunch of spells banished, I think. So seeing with the 2 new cards, is that enough to actually come back? Now, in my variant of Mekk Knights, I'm not actually running the field spell because the field spell requires you to run every single name, and that's not what I'm about here. We are playing this to as close of a TCG list as possible. So, okay, now we're going to get a special summon of the Cobalt. Now, only traps are negated, so we have to be very careful of what we do. But I need to move it out of the way. With the traps being negated, I'm not sure if that was actually an ideal play to move Cobalt Blue preemptively. I think that actually could have been a misplay that is going to cost a lot more than it seems. Special summon... Oh, we can't special summon Cobalt Blue because there's... Don't forget, all of them are only once per turn if you want to summon it out like that. So I'm going to activate the effect of... Blue Sky to get a search, and then I can actually fill the board up again with monsters. See, this deck, because it carries so many searchers, it can easily flood the board over and over and over again. But just bear in mind that you could quickly run out of resources. And even though you're getting a lot of searches, they are mainly just bodies. They don't have a strong recovery, and only the level 8s are the ones that are versatile enough to actually hold the board with board control. Now, special summon out Purple Dusk. Still can't exactly answer that Borload Dragon. I want to go into Borload myself, but that is actually not possible. The problem with the Borload is that he's going to try to use this card that he's about to activate. That's right, the Desperado. If he uses Desperado, I'm not able to, I would overcommit and actually just lose everything. So I'm going to go with the swing, try to kill off the dock. He is going to pop up my card. I'm going to chain Purple Dusk to banish to search. No, remember, the searching effect of Purple Dusk is that you can target another Mekk Knight and banish it, or target a Mekk Knight, banish it, and get a search and come back next standby. So, response, I'm going to activate. He wanted to use Borlo to kind of chain lock me out, but since we take turns on the chain, we're going to keep going. And here we have it. We have Doc retrieving a card out of the graveyard. He can't retrieve the what's the card he can't retrieve? But the one he just activated, that trap card, Desperado. He can't get that back, which is okay. So we're gonna try to attack into the dock. Luckily, the dock dies.
Damage. Want to use firewall? To special summon a guy from my hand.
Oh yeah, now Firewall, does Firewall have another proc?
No, you can attack, you're still in battle phase. Yes. No. I think 11 for this one.
Okay. Well, there is a search. So, what's next? There is a back row as well. You can try and crash into the Firewall. Oh, but damage step. Oh my god, huge misplay. The misplay was that was the damage step, and then there was also no response to that, which forced the crash in. So I'm going to try and activate True Depths of the World Legacy. This is a Call of the Haunted, so targeting off one of my own cards in the graveyard to special summon it back out. And this is the monster effect negator. Hopefully this is going to be able to stun off most of the other monsters on Y side of the field. So targeting Cobalt Blue because this actually allows for 2 stuns. However, Y is going to summon out a Casper onto the field. And he's actually going to activate Twin Twister. In that column, there is no way I can actually negate that because I do not possess any card that is able to do so. The other trap card is the what I need, and I do not have that for the negation. So the Twin Twister is actually going to be able to pop the cards, and since True Depth is like Call of the Haunted, if you do pop the Call of the Haunted, it will basically pop the monster, so I use Purple Dusk to banish it off so that I can actually get it back later. And I'll also get myself a free search. So I add myself another Blue Sky. At this point, I realize that it's basically game. 2600 life, he does have a Cross Dominator to basically zero out one of my monsters. Borlo can steal a monster, he can get himself a nice swing. Not looking too good on my side, and it is still currently his turn. And here we go. This game is basically in the bag for Y. Attack, steal. Now remember, it actually has to steal into the correct zone. So we correct that right now, and cross dominator, swing, swing, and it's basically game. This is GG right here. Man, King of Columns couldn't even maximize on it, but lots of search, lots of power plays in this game. That was actually pretty fun. That was actually our very first game, which was, well, Y's up 1. Alright, now we go again. Round 2. Here we go. So that other game, Borderlord Dragon, proved to be a huge threat against the deck. And perhaps there were more optimal plays to actually do in that previous game. Perhaps maybe a Decode Talker could have went somewhere in there. I thought the cutting was already done, but I guess we're still in a bit of a setup phase. Alright, so setup is done. Into game 2. Did I choose to go first? I know that in my current build, I did run triple Venus and also triple Grinder Golem, just so that I can actually get a head start. And I believe I passed turn. Y is getting a draw on his turn. He summons out Casper. That's a very good start already. And he's playing a Pot of Desires. No Ash Blossom to negate that. We're not about those kinds of games here. Well, it would have been pretty fun to actually do it to him. So 10 cards have been banished, and he is going to get his double draw plus search. And search. Usually getting that effect off it usually feels pretty good, because that's a +2. Desperado and 2 unknown cards. Now, Desperado is probably the strongest card against the Mekk Knight matchup. If you're going to be playing Magical Musketeers, well, 12 to the face. Desperado usually has an easier timing window to actually deal with some of the other cards. That's just a heads up to you guys. So if you're playing Magical Musketeers and your opponent's playing Mekk Knights, just know that they have control. See, oh, why decide to set in the same column? So if I do have a blue sky, I will be able to fetch a double search. However, it does come with a bit of a price, a bit of a risk, if you ask me. Now that middle column is now completely full. Blue sky would be the most ideal card to summon out. I know he has Desperado, and the thing about Blue Sky is that, well, fortunately I did not summon a Blue Sky. I summoned a Purple Dusk. And I'm going to swing right into his monster. He's damage stepping, activating his card there.
I'd rather you lose a guy than have a chance to run away.
It's a damage step. So that was a damage step, putting my guy to 0. I take another 12 to the face. Because he used it on damage step, he does not get a search. And now we move on to main phase 2. I get a special summon. He used it because he wanted to guarantee that my monster would die and not dodge his card. Now set another card onto the field. And pass turn. We can activate the Whispers of World Legacy. That one is the spell negation and also boost my monster by 1000 attack and defense. So any card or any spell that's playing the same column is basically now negated, and that's how I'm trying to suppress the board, not letting him get his effects off. And if you actually can get the spell and trap off at the same time, it's the best feeling. So I did activate yeah, so I did activate the card in the same column as his Casper, so he's decided to get a search. He's going to activate the Desperado to pop it. I'm going to chain another True Depths to summon out my Purple Dust back onto the field. And because I have the Monster Negator and the Spell Negator, Even though it was popped, I did manage to get my monster summoned out, and his Casper will not be able to get his search. This is actually a little bit more complicated because there's tons of continuous effects going on now.
Can't move columns, but can tag out to search.
Yes.
So he normal summons out Starfire.
Does it take out himself only or any other guy?
Any other guys? Bring this guy out if he wants to.
So Y right now is actually going to focus on the bottom side of the board because if he puts anything on my side, it's most likely going to get negated. I don't exactly have my column shifter, but if I did have the Cobalt, it would have been awesome because I could start negating all his spells and his monster effects. And I can't really stop the Starfire from summoning out as well, so he's probably going to summon at the far left side because he doesn't want his stuff negated. So for his far left side, so the bottom of the mat. I believe he's going to find the fastest way to actually retrieve his Desperado. The only thing I do not negate are traps right now, so that's that is his best bet of clearing off most of my cards.
Well, it's not that. The worst. Mind control.
Oh, he's baiting me with a mind control, forcing me to tag. He's going to target Golden Bloom. I'm going to activate my Mekk Knight of Purple Dusk, banish the Golden Bloom to search probably a Blue Sky. Or if not Blue Sky, it's going to be at least the Ringmaster.
Or actually, general. I get cross domination.
So he's debating whether or not he should ask Cross Domination or should he add the Desperado. Personally, Desperado makes a lot more sense just because it's not going to get negated if you play in the wrong column. And the destruction is quite valuable.
Can link off into something. Can't link off into.
If he does play Cross Domination right now, the only problem is that he's actually not getting any cards back anymore. So maybe he would hold back. Because if Cross Dominates my guy, I'm actually going to tag it out. Or actually, I already tagged out, so sorry. I can't tag out. Free kill.
Wait, which one is this attached to? Because that's the one you did a second chain. This is the call to hunter. Is that guy, right?
Yeah.
Alright, good. I'll just Desperado it.
So he is using Desperado and killing off Purple Dusk.
Then enter Battle Phase.
And Battle Phase, he's going to swing for 13 and 12, taking a total of another 25.
Then do we have any good link twos? in this
No.
game?
There's nothing that's decent yet.
You go.
Pass his turn, and I draw. Golden Bloom comes back. He doesn't exactly have any back row, so Golden Bloom isn't exactly anything but a body on the field.
Yeah, they are proud. That's why I can search with Desperado. Yeah.
So I'm going to summon him directly in front of the Starfire. Set one in the far column, right into the same line of Doc. Special summon out the Cobalt. Spells are still negated, so that's still a good thing.
Can they take to run? Or to
They can
search?
shift columns.
Just shift, right? That one can't shift, right?
Oh, special summon, normal summon out Venus. Paying 500 life points to summon a Shine Ball. We're going to link it off right away. That's probably going to be a Link Spider. And we're going to see another Shine Ball. Probably going to fill up the rest of the board with Shine Balls now. So Total of 1,000 life points lost right there. 26 to 8k still. Y has not taken a single hit. But I did manage to flood the board with monsters, and you know how Link goes. If we can link off this stuff, it's going to be pretty nasty. With 2 Shine Balls left, we're probably going to go into a... this has to be Imduck, because it requires a normal monster. Now, am I greedy enough to actually just go straight into, say, a Skull Dread? If I go into Skull Dread, I do get a 4-card draw, and I get to put 3 cards back, which could be a really good thing. Or am I going to go with the Imduck? Oh no, it's a double. It's actually a double link. So this is more likely going to be a Proxy Dragon. Am I actually going with the Decode Talker? Decode Talker would be a pretty safe play, as Cross Domination and Desperado are both going to be negated at this point.
Oh, it's a trade-off I'll have to take.
Yeah, make up your mind, Tombox. Alright, here we go. We got a Proxy Dragon. Proxy Dragon is 14. That's still strong enough to take up at least 2 of these guys. So, depending on what I do, I could use this entire board to actually get myself the advantage that I need. Turn off a Magic Bullet player. Unload the bullet. We're going to see Venus take a crack at it. This is very risky. If he has a handful of, I guess, quote-unquote, hand traps or quick play spells, this board is as good as dead. But thanks to Proxy Dragon, it's a little bit safer. Why else would you go into Proxy Dragon, Tombox? If you're going to go into Proxy Dragon, you might as well swing. You can protect your dudes. Just swing with the other dudes.
I will go with Venus.
Venus! Alright, Golden Bloom swings into the Casper. That's about 1,000. No response. So there's no steady aim. Perhaps it got banished. Now this is the more important monster. I don't want to lose this monster to random things. So I'm actually going to test the waters here. Going with the Venus attack into the Starfire. No response. That was a safe go, go, go kind of situation. This board is empty. There's nothing in hand. It's time to break everything. We're going to go use Proxy Dragon to take out the dock, and we're going to swing for 24, and then we have Link Spider to swing for that last 1,000. So putting him to 33. Catching up in life points from this one single turn.
Phase 2.
Now, main phase 2. We're going to go take out Golden Bloom. We're going to take out the Link Spider, Proxy Dragon, and the Venus for a Link 4. So we're using... So we're going to go into Saryuja, the Skull Dread, to draw 4. And you got to put 3 cards back to the bottom of the deck. The reason why, for Mekk Knights, you want to go into Skull Dread as fast as possible is because you want to dig out the 3 back row and then just stun your opponent from play after play after play, doing the same stuff over and over again.
Activate.
And now I activate Pot of Desires from the stuff I added. Oh, no Ash Blossom. This actually has been the funniest matches ever, because like usually whenever we activate stuff like Pot of Desires, Ash Blossom is always there.
Turn off all day. Well, I'm just gonna activate this anyway.
I'm going to be activating the Trap Negator, which is key to the World Legacy. This is going to be very useful for like turning off Wise effects. And now I can actually turn off the spells and traps.
2 negations. Took forever to get there.
He's going to summon out Starfire. If he activates anything, I'm immediately just jumping to that column. But if he activates stuff on the other columns, it doesn't matter. Oh, he reveals his hand, his scoop phase right here. He has nothing he can activate.
Unless I activate this.
Well, let's be honest, I don't think you're gonna.
So, game 2 goes to me. Oh my god.
Activate this, I'll move it to your column.
I can get this activated because I'm.
So basically, he ran out of options because he did not have enough spells and traps. He burned most of the resources and perhaps looking at Pot of Desires, he lost one of his Desperados right there too. And he actually lost quite a few spells. I mean, I only saw one monster in that pile. So might have gotten severely punished from that one play. So right now we're going into game 3. Why will be going first now? Each battle was a huge struggle, could have went either way. Well, except for the first, right, that all the games could have went either way.
Let's see what you can do.
You win this round.
Why pass his turn? And
But it's better than nothing, right?
in terms of in my hand, I actually have a handful of Mekk Knights right now. Mekk Knights and Grinder Golem. If you see a hand like this, this is exactly what you should do, especially when your opponent does nothing. So special summon Grinder Golem. My opponent now actually maxes. But for the maxi, it's actually after the fact. So in other words, he doesn't actually exactly get anything here. But the maxi here is actually just to prevent him from dying. I actually have to get rid of that Grinder Golem, or else I'll be taking 3k to the face.
Is there a reason I should maxi here, right? So
There is no reason why you shouldn't maxi.
it's okay.
So maxi is correct. It makes it very difficult for me to do anything. I'm going to play Pot of Desires. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Ash Blossom takes away 10 cards.
I didn't even need those.
But is there a reason for me to not do Ash, right? Like, sorry.
However, we all know how this works with a Grinder Golem.
It was the bait.
Proceeding to link off one of the tokens. So both Ash and Maxi activate. I am still under Maxi chat. He's going to be drawing a ton of cards here. Link Spider and probably a Karibo. I think he's actually snacking right now. He is going to be drawing these cards. So we're going to go into the Akashic. 1, 2, 3. That's 3 card draws already. So yeah, for Maxi. 1, 2, 3. And Grinder Golem's back to hand. Here you go, have another Grinder Golem. And since these are simultaneous, he does not get anything for the tokens. It's just one whole summon altogether. Now with the Grinder Golem on that side of the field, and this column is now containing 2 monsters, this opens my gate to summon out a bunch of dudes. Special summon out Cobalt. Move the column. Special summon out Purple. Effect, banish itself to search. Now note that Ash has already been used. He technically can still use Droll and Lockbird, because I do recall there was a Droll and Lockbird in the deck. Special summon, another draw.
Yeah, I get to highlight the topologic thing without security dragon. Effect.
Search 1.
You have all the hand traps again. I don't know what I'm doing to you.
Now, I better be able to kill him off right now, because if I don't, I am definitely going to die. Giving him that many cards, he has all his options available. Perhaps that actually kind of slows him down, because you can't use Tides if you actually have all the Tides targets in your hand.
Oh, must have banished it.
And I probably must have banished the other card already, so I'm going to add myself another Purple Dusk.
Perform Link Summon.
Link 4. We're going to Link 4 into Firewall. Firewall is right now currently co-linked with Akashic Magician. we're gonna bounce back the Grinder Golem with the Firewall. We're going to proceed to special summon out a Grinder Golem once again, this time in attack mode, drawing another card and special summoning out those 2 tokens. Now they are vanilla tokens, and with Firewall pointing left and right, this opens up my zones to make a Link Karibo. And I can get rid of the other token to summon out Link Spider. Now I'm going to link those 2 off into something we haven't seen yet. Underclock Taker. Effect of Underclock Taker, whatever it points to, it can make your opponent's monster lose that much attack. So that Grinder Golem is now at 500, and guess what's coming out? Topologic Bomber Dragon. So this is an instant OTK, guys. This is something that you guys can probably do if you get that opening. You might as well just do it. You can burn them for game. This is exactly 8,000 damage. Swing for 2,500 battle damage and 3k burn damage, taking 55, and then you swing for the remaining 25 with the Firewall Dragon. So before I get into the summary of this video, I just want to give a huge shout out to Y, my partner there, because without him I couldn't have gotten this video done, and he actually sat through that blackout with me, playing through the games, setting up the lighting with the windows and everything, and just kind of dealing with my shenanigans. So huge shout out to Y, and I apologize for any kind of frustration that might have caused you. Second thing is, I want to give a huge shout out to my Patreons. I will increase my video camera quality when I get power. I got power later on, which is kind of annoying because I actually got it at the end of after all the matches. So yeah, that part kind of sucked, and I wasn't going to spend another couple of hours playing more games. But anyways, huge shout out to you guys. If you guys want to help me and support my channel, please check out my Patreon. I have lots of exclusive to you guys as well. And I also, the Christmas giveaways, sending shirts, mugs, and fun stuff like that. And you guys get exclusive raffles whenever I make a new mat. So that's a little bonus for you guys. Now, looking here at the matchup here, 2-1 with Mekk Knights taking the match. Now, Muskets do have faster control. They only need to summon 1 monster, and Desperado is a very, very deadly card against the deck. Especially when they can actually pop the back row, and the back row is some of the strongest control you have, and to them, it's like swatting a fly. So, in terms of all the practice matchup, Muskets won about 60% of the time to 70% of the time, easily on the game one, especially when they go first and they have ties with the brethren. It's almost impossible to come back. But Mekk Knights, however, once they gain control, they keep that control. It's very difficult to break out of it, and the snowballing is ridiculous. Once you get 1 Mekk Knight in every column, the game is basically over. The deck is spammy and quick, especially with huge body, so you can actually quickly take the game if you have the opportunity. And with a sacky Grinder Golem, because Tombox here is a sack, huge sack factor, you can do the Topologic OTK without Security Dragon. That's one of your advantages. And that's all I got for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed this video, enjoyed this matchup, hit me up with a like button. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, hit the subscribe button. Hopefully you guys learned something about Mekk Knights in this. And if there's any sort of quirky things that happen in there, you leave it down in the comment section below. For the winner now is Grinder Mekk Knights. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. And I'm also going to be away, so most of this stuff is actually pre-recorded. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please drop us a like so we know we are doing a good job, and you can also subscribe to MST.TV for more fantastic videos by clicking on the button on the left. Don't forget to check out our partners at Imperium Duelist. They make really high quality mats, including some of my own limited edition release stuff. And if you want to check out one of our past videos, click here on the right. As always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV, and I'll see you next time.